DM Stewart was talking about where he's sort of. I've been racing a lot with him in the morning, and he's keeps commenting the fact that he stole one from Ravioli. He's given a lot of credit to Ravioli, who's a great new runner. May be competitive and just level 1 fade.
And Cure 4. I don't care about the Harm 4 other than it's not at like level 2 where you would be able to double up on your blasting. It makes up for the terrible black magic.
Yeah, I mean, the black mage has got one job to do, and it's to cast fast when we get to Topher. So, you know, maybe we'll get more in level 2, but...
Cloth plus 5's worth picking up. That's an actual armor.
That's like chain -2.
for 1 gold apiece.
Yeah. It's going to be... So, Fade, Cure 4... Fade to get us through the early game, Cure 4 to save us in Topher. I think we're going to see our runners pretty quickly jettison this Thief. And I would lean into Black Belt White Mage here, unless level 2 had Nuke, and just as soon as we can, hit Volcano, see if we get some early levels, get that Black Belt off the ground. Ravioli, bypassing the boxes in true Black Belt fashion, taking the fight right to Garland. Bane Sword is also nice to find too. Oh, well, we're going to talk to the bats. So, spoiler bats are on, and we only learned a little bit about Kraken and
Chaos. And what we saw was not particularly encouraging. Both of them will nuke you, and that's fabulous. And I think I saw thick armor on Chaos, which can stymie a black belt pretty well.
I still think, the big nukes could be bad, but if we find an early grind, say we get key early, or there's something nice on the fire tile in the volcano, that if we go Thief White Mage or Black Belt White Mage, that White Mage is going to get a lot of HP too, and that White Mage will get up over 400 HP pretty quickly with regards to like XP growth in these flags. So levels will come fast as Ravioli gets the favor done for him by those creeps and says goodnight to the Thief.
Yeah, I don't see that Thief coming back anytime soon. I mean, it's nice to have the run chance, but you got to take the opportunity to down the Thief when it's there.
And there's no better time to do it than right here in the early game, where the Thief has not a lot of HP, and we don't run the risk of trying to damn the Thief on an enemy that could kill more than just the Thief, you know? Waiting for like a early cremate or something to take care of it could kind of bite us if we lose one of the mages if we want to get levels on in the meantime.
One thing I am slightly concerned about is DM Stewart has moved the black belt up front, so we're not getting the bonus from the agility on our first strike rates.
Yeah, and it's going to make that Thief a little less likely to be targeted by melee strikes, and therefore he's more survivable in that second slot. Harm 2 is not a bad pickup for the White Mage. It is like a free low roll fade. And Ice 3 Lit 3 Bane. So, pretty good magic in the early game. It took we had level 1 lock, which is fine. And we're bringing back the Thief for Ravioli. Our runner's in a hurry to make it liars out of us this morning, Saracen.
It's true. Ravioli making the difficult decision. Do I go left? Do I go right? We're going right because this is going to get us to our next incentive faster. We're a little low level for ice. Probably skip that, but man, the starting exit on the White Mage makes it a somewhat appealing choice.
Yeah, even just popping into Volcano and just checking the fire and the Grey Worm tiles, again, that level 1 exit makes it really sort of appealing if we can keep that White Mage alive. We did see gold bracelets +4 that were a lot of money, but...
The other thing that's worthwhile doing that quick Volcano dot is just check the armory, get the stuff out of there, that makes sure that you have cash for a vendor item if that comes up right away.
Ravioli taking fights along the river systems. Gators rolled low, so it's going to be a decent amount of XP. Going to throw them up to level 7 and 8 across the board here. Not terrible. It's more charges of the level 1 Fade, the level 2 magic for the Black Mage, and it gets us a little bit more survivability just to have everybody over like 150 HP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like having the extra levels early on just for the safety while running around on the map.
Mm-hmm. Heals and Pierce. A little expensive this seed as well. 33 gold heals. Feels a little bad when you run seeds and you see them for like 8 gold.
Yeah. Life Reboot asking about the party. It was actually just add black belts back into the pool, I think. I didn't see it all forced.
Yeah, black belts were just available in slots 2 and 3. So only slot 1 and 4 were forced. This is just either a gentleman's agreement to run black belt white mage, or this is just the strategy that both of them have employed with this flag set and practice.
Mute touch hydras. That's not as bad as it could be, but it ain't great.
Yeah, hydras are almost always gross in my opinion. Like they're never a fun enemy to run into in the early game. They always have a lot of HP. They always hit really hard with multiple hits, and they don't give a lot of experience. So it's not even worth burning down a Fade and a Lightning 3 to get through them.
Yeah, especially not when it's just one Hydra. There's our floater from the Elf Prince.
So Ravioli making the play. DMStewart can probably make the same play unless we see a cheeky early ice dive. With floater in hand, we have a canal. We know that marsh or ice is going to be our boat. Now, the tricky thing is our boat could also be locked in Canaria, so the key could be in marsh or ice. But as it stands right now, we've got a ruby to turn in. We got a floater to turn in. Maybe check the Bahamut treasure through Cardia Forest, because we don't want to promote anytime soon. We don't probably want to promote until we level 4 Bracken Fire 3 is pretty good. So, man, what do you do, Saracen?
The Cardia Forest check is exactly what I was mentally heading towards. I love that check when you have the airship, because especially now where we don't care about the tail, we're going to lean into that black belt more often than not. That gives you the quick check without having to do 2 long hallways. It's also, pretty close to checking Waterfall and the on-rack shop, the Underhill. You get a lot of options heading in that direction. Yeah. Obviously Sarda and the Ruby turn-in are top of mind as well.
Yeah.
I would probably do Sarda and the Ruby first, just proximity-wise. Heading to Cardia first is a lot slower, and this is, I think, a bit more natural routing.
Yeah, no, this feels good. We are looking for a shop item, like you said. So there's our loot. There's part of the mystery solved. Loot and key, the big items here. We have a rod, so that's access to an additional dungeon. We need to see, I think, optimal here would be Ruby to Key, and Key has like the Oxyale, and then we're like super jet. We're ready to go. Let's see how fast we can get this black belt some levels. Unfortunately, it's Chime. So I don't hate that, because it prevents you from falling into the I found a grind in C trap. C grinds are always spooky scary.
Sure are.
Especially unless it's a terrible time to find out that Kraken has a touch attack. But life 2 here at level 5.
The only way that I would be in favor of a C grind is if that white mage were to get stoned.
Yeah.
Then I'm totally on board. You've sold me.
going to make a quick adjustment on the timers. They are 10 minutes behind what that time's saying. Thank you to Dark Moon and Guardian Marcus for doing the behind the scenes here. Definitely appreciate it.
So Marsh is, to me, a bit of an interesting play because, yes, we have exit to make it fast, but we also know that it has basically 50-50 odds of being a ship, and we don't want a ship.
No, we don't. So it's...
If we had the key, it's got tiles at least, you know?
Yeah, it's got the one tile, but it's not a safe grind at all.
We get multiple in the locked rooms if we have the key.
Oh yeah, no, if we get the key, I mean, we get access to 2 more. The Cobra and the second Wizard tile. Alright. DMs are going to jump up into the air and...
Gargoyles with fire too. The natural enemy of low-level parties.
This is where I think you're grateful that you didn't have to come here and you cut your losses and come back when you have higher levels. The tricky thing is the gargoyles do appear on 2 spike tiles.
Mm-hmm.
So if one of those spike tiles is guarding a required item or progression, I guess I really couldn't guard progression early, but it's still gross. You still hate to see it. They're going to be everywhere in Earth. It makes that rod a little less valuable to hit an 8-pack of them on Earth too. And
yeah.
Be sad being cooked by gargoyles. Quad X scums. Doing Ravioli a favor here. Keep the thief down. Unless we had the thief specifically for run chance here, but
Frosty tile? That's interesting. We've got Fire 3, we've got Fade.
They're pretty big though. 308. Bane's not going to do a whole lot of work here, but about anywhere from 3 to 430 HP. If the black belt can punch them and they're not super evasive, this might be okay after a bit. But only after a bit. Because there goes our white mage.
There's our ride.
So, if you're Ravioli, you want to see the boat here, but
it's the key. Oh, that's huge and terrible.
It's a massive play for Ravioli here. Now, if Ravioli checks the lower, better trap treasure room and finds a safer grind, it might have paid out.
There's no checking with what he still has available to him. Once the white mage went down.
I would disagree, only because you check it. If there's something better, you found your grind early. We've got a decent amount of key items. We have our surefire exit strategy to get out of here. If it's not, we reset and we can run back in with the white mage. Not take those frosties, run, get the item, and exit out. It's a net time loss, but you're covering the same amount of time, same amount of encounters, walking out as you are walking back in. So it would at least be more information. But Ravioli gets through and gets out, and with 2 light warriors and in effective key item go mode, must be feeling pretty good about right about now. I mean, the key's going to give us another check. If this is Oxyale or Cube, we're golden, and that's all she wrote. And then it's just go look for a grind. And we're keeping
only
the
bringing
thief down.
Only bringing that white mage back. I think that's a good play.
DMStewart checking tiles here on Earth, not finding anything really worthwhile. And Jesus the Frog pointing out that we can check Northwest now, we can check TOF. Those are 3 more spike tiles that we can take a look at, and all of which are safe. So,
Gershark Wissahag, also not great. There's the Oxyale for Ravioli, so that is item go mode.
So, if Ravioli knows that and is willing to commit, this seed could be over in 25-30 minutes. Which is lightning fast for these flags. If we find a grind right away, we blow through Oxy or Sea, Earth, and we're gonna check. So this tells me that Ravioli doesn't know about Well, one of two things. He either knows and doesn't care because he wants to open all the boxes in one place. I'm lazy.
That is so sad. And ravioli directly to the incentive box, which
he was here for information and a little bit more XP. So, I guess maybe hoping to find cube. Now this is where you go find iron armor in a shop, and you get that. So the black belt with fighter armor is crazy good because fighter armor already is A tier, S tier armor. You know, it's the best armor a ninja can. So if you put fighter armor on a black belt, you don't have to worry about getting to the mid-20s before you have decent absorb. You could just have it right away and give one of your mages that opal bracelet -3. But checking for ribbons is also a good suggestion, as Jesus the Frog calls out. And unfortunately for DM Stewart, heading to Ordeals is just going to kind of... he has the tail, but he's going to feel like he's chasing his tail here.
Yeah. Ravioli checking the northwest trap tiles, which is not putting out the goods yet. And Grey Worm, not the greatest grind.
Not the greatest, but this
Zombie D is good. I like Zombie Ds.
Yeah, we sit here until the mages burn out all their charges, and hopefully by then the black belt will be strong enough to punch through, and I think we have our grind. Especially, well, they got a little bit of HP.
Yeah. They're a little thick, but, you know, once the black belt's up to probably 21, it'll be fine.
Yeah. And as long as we don't catch 2 of them at a time, for the, like, on this early part of the grind, it should be okay. Because 2 of them could get a little scary.
Yeah. There might need to be a brief stop out at an inn, or buy some houses or something.
Yeah. Jesus the Frog asking, what's the encounter table like? Phew. Good question. We were in the air so fast. It seems fine, but...
I don't think it's overworld grindable.
Yeah. I don't...
All right. Ravioli has picked up some houses.
Yeah, I don't think we caught a fight on the way to TOF. But I could be mistaken.
In this position, we know about the Zombie Ds, but do you go check the Toph spike tile first before committing? Yeah. Yeah, just in case. And it also gets us the information on the 2 better trap treasures in there, in case one is a free ribbon and we don't got to worry about digging out the incentive one. So, but yeah, I mean, I still don't hate the play because we could still do the check later. And if it is, we just feel kind of behind. But to quote the venerable Burt Reynolds, you don't want to waste time looking for a worse grind. So this will do. This will do. You know, we're a few fights away from that black belt probably being able to one punch, and we're already in the process of jettisoning that black mage as DM Stewart navigates his pillar maze. I guess if this is, I don't know. I have a feeling DM Stewart isn't going to last location the key, but I don't see him doing. Yeah, I don't see him doing ice before March. But I've been wrong a lot in these flags, like trying to guess what people are going to do. So I'm trying to avoid falling into that pitfall. Like DM Stewart's doing here in Ordeal, it's just falling through pillar after pillar, and just it's kind of trolling him a little bit here. Yeah, it did not help that pillar 2 was the zonk. Oh, pillar 3 brings us right to the exit, though. So on to the final floor.
We get the black mage down. Unfortunately, we also lost the black belt on that last fight, but didn't lose all of our levels. But the white mage just jumped up to level 17 for Ravioli, and there's
an eye tile.
We're gonna see a dueling grinds here, because I'm sure DM's not gonna leave this place until that black belt is all the way on the moon.
Yeah. Now the question I have is, how fast does he jettison the other characters, and does he go get the key item first?
I think you gotta go get the key item first, just because it's 10% more XP. Make the grind 10% faster. And if it's the ribbon, we can come back and put that on the black belt as well.
Dark Moon asking about target levels. I'm thinking that you kind of want to target so 32 is I believe Ravioli saw nuke and tough armor chaos notes. Suddenly I don't believe.
So DM Stewart gonna pace back. In my mind, just go open the boxes. He is wearing fighter armor on that black belt, which I love. I love to see, because that means that his black belt's going to be a little more tankier than Ravioli's. Granted, he's also fighting an enemy that hits much harder. So as we have our dueling grinds, and we're talking about a lot about Ravioli, Saracen, what's your favorite kind of ravioli stuffing or ravioli sort of alternative? Because we have the Polish pierogi, we have the Mexican or Hispanic empanadas, we have Asian style dumplings. What do you think?
I'm a man who loves all sorts of food and can barely remember the names of them.
Sure.
What's the Ethiopian variety?
Oh, I don't know. I was also, you said Ethiopian, I immediately thought also of samosas from India, which are also fantastic.
Yeah, samosas and sambusa, that's it. Sambusa is the Ethiopian one. Those are fantastic. I live in an area where we have a lot of Ethiopian immigrants, so I've had them authentic at potlucks before. It's fabulous.
We got the question from Chet, is tortellini a ravioli? No, it's a tortellini, bro. Pasta's pasta, man.
Would you consider bao to be in the category of a ravioli? I know that's more of a steamed bread, but
yeah, it's adjacent. It's an ethnic adjacent with this is Ravioli's wasting time. You're finding a worse grind on the Gur Sharks. Banesword's not gonna get them through, and they got a spell script. We abandoned ship.
Abort.
Yeah, that's
they aborted for him.
Yeah, go back. Just go back. Don't waste time there.
We're looking elsewhere.
Oh, go to Toph. I mean, I think saving grace here would be Agama's on the fire tile that rolled sub 300 HP.
I do think it's interesting that he opted not to save on his way into Volcano. Wrong eye.
That's the wrong one. All right. So lots of responses in chats. Dark Moon with the cannelloni, again with pasta, but adjacent. It's adjacent. Empanadas. John R79 calzones. The breadier version.
The biggier version.
Yeah. Empanadas. We got gyoza. Gyoza. Yeah. I mean, it's that Asian style dumpling. So I had steamed dumplings or fried dumplings the other day at the one of the local takeout spots, and it inspired me to look up the Spanish word for dumplings, which is just a long word. It's a whole phrase. It's a pouch of masa with meat is the whole thing directly translated. But it did teach me the word albondigas, which is meatballs. And I love it. It's my new favorite Spanish word. It's just so fun to say. Albondigas. I'm a big fan of meatballs. If you can find a way to get meatballs into a ravioli, I'm here for it. The closest I think I've seen is the Chef Boyardee meatballs, which are also pretty good. Takes me back to my childhood.
All right. DM has dropped the Black Mage, which is the first step of many.
Mm-hmm.
But this eye is not great at doing this job.
Yeah. We need to maybe go dig around for some. And unfortunately, Ravioli now, about 2 to 3 minutes later, has come back to the zombie Ds, which feels bad. And he might feel bad about this because he just lost however much time he spent looking. He could have been grinding. And while it's not ideal, it's you chug some heal pots, you get to level 21, you get that 6th hit, and then you just, by then, there we go, we're level 21. So now it should be a little easier. And we're trying to run from multiples. I think we could take multiples at 21.
Yeah.
He'll learn that lesson once he catches a single one, because the double is really better XP, but we don't get the turn order. It's going to be bad.
It can take a lot of your heal potions to deal with that.
All right, so he's got to see that he's doing much better damage here. Now, each progressive level, he will be hitting harder and harder, so these will eventually get faster.
Yeah, but they just did like 300 damage to him.
Right, so now I think you have to take a second, pause, look at your absorb, and see if that Opal -3 is really doing you any favors, because it is eating into your evasion cap, or your evasion stat. So if you can just get rid of that and just deal with your natural absorb here now at 22, like, you might be okay.
I think he hit 23. And the Opal is 34 base, -3 is taking 6 off that, so 28. Yeah, I would be taking that thing off right now.
Yeah, it's I don't think it's worth it with the evasion penalty. But we're getting there on DMStewart sites, slowly but surely.
The white mage is down. We're two out of 4 down. Okay, the thief taking that decent hit is actually really big.
The other upside to DMSteward's grind here is he can just give that black belt the Bane sword until we get punches to be able to down it, because the eye is pretty vulnerable to Bane.
Mm-hmm. All right, the thief is down. That's big news.
And there's level 21.
Big level. One punch!
All right. So as both of our runners here continue their space race, literally it's 20 degrees Fahrenheit here. It's literal Cold War. As
12
ravioli and DMStewart. 25 now. Going back to the level cap, I think if I'm ravioli, I've spent as much time here as I have, and like knowing I've left and come back, and it's felt artificially slower because we left town. I just go as high as I want to go, just fully commit to this and get to like 42. If I'm DM, I know that the whole game is still in front of me. I don't have a key yet. Maybe I'll stop at like 32. But
DM is not the kind of person who stops a grind when he finds it, and the eye tile is going to be too enticing for him. He loves to take his black belts to the moon.
It is fun to see. You just wish that they had a hit percent bonus so you could see that the elusive 12th hit. Oh, it's so good. Then you fasted and oh man, you hit for 24 hits for 12,000 damage. Oh man. But it's fascinating because Ravioli's grind's a little bit slower, but he does run. It's like risk versus reward because he's also getting more XP when he gets the double dragon here. But having to stop more to heal, it's an interesting payoff here because DM's getting about $7,000 per eye, and Ravioli's getting 11,000 for 2. So it's not.
The menu time is I think the killer.
Oh man, it feels good to be right sometimes, Saracen.
What?
DM left at 32 now. Maybe we open the boxes now that we feel more survivable. We get that pro ring, put it on the black belt.
Can't.
Belt. Oh right, they have a pro ring mouse. That is correct. I was going to say, with the way these flags work, it's essentially the death touch is elemental, so a pro ring should protect against it, as well as a ribbon. I say should because, oh man, if I had some bad luck.
So I touched on that in one of the conversations you had started yesterday, and that comes down to the multi-hit problem.
Yeah.
So the way that things work, if you did not know, is the RNG is kind of assigned to each character slot. And so your 3 and 256 is actually stable to the slot for single target, single hit abilities.
DMStewart taking this mummy fight. They are death of 1,000 paper cuts. I mean, maybe he doesn't trust the run chance, but this is grab our head and start panicking, because if we keep losing this turn order, oh boy.
We're safe-ish now? We're down to 2 of them, and they're missing.
Yeah, it's just, we're gonna, hopefully we got heal pots.
He does. He had plenty.
Okay, he's got 75, so we're gonna drink 30 of them right now.
Right.
So going back to slot RNG, as Ravioli finishes his grind at 34, brings back the 2 mages, leaving the thief down and in the front to capitalize off the dead thief's ability to evade fights. It's fun.
There's a bottle.
And move him up front, please. Move him up front, please. Let's move him up front, because we can at least morale break. So Dazzle is still scary. I mean, we have 32 times. We have a lot of MDef right now, but we are by no means safe. Black belt. Safe-ish would be level 48-ish to be able to soak a Bane at 3 and 256. But if going back to like that mummy fight, the scary thing about that is I've seen those fights where you just think they're all melee with not a lot of hit chance, and then all of a sudden they break out a spell script. And then all of a sudden it's Quad X that comes out, and then
you've lost a grind and you're very sad.
There are moments in life that are tragic and that are sad, and Ravioli is not experiencing that moment. He finds a ribbon for free on the way to Kraken, but there's something so defeating about losing a grind that took that long.
Yeah.
We were there for about 10 minutes, and because not only did we lose that time in the seed and we have to give it back, we also lost that levels, lost that survivability. We have to re-down our party members. It's exponentially worse.
So, getting back to the slot RNG thing, so the 3 and 256 is assigned to slots, so there's one slot that's usually safe, but when it's multi-hits, it breaks the normal logic, and that 3 and 256 can hit a slot that it's normally not assigned to, meaning the death touch can go through your pro rings and your ribbons.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's black magic voodoo moon math that we don't. It's because I've been 3 and 256 through max evade on Kraken 2. Like I've caught like 3 critical hits before, and then to the point where I had to clip it, put it in dev chat, and then Wildhand took the seed and found that all 3 of the 3 and 256s were like within like 10 characters of each other or whatever within the RG table.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the worst kind of luck to have, because it's definitely an inverted sort of luck. Is that Stone Touch? Is that Stone Touch? Or was that a Brack that came out?
I didn't notice because I was too busy paying attention to DM Stewart using the Clinic of Shame.
Question from chat, Mr. Snooki. If Ravioli's in water, does that mean he has bottle 2? Because I think the tracker program may have eaten a click. No, Mr. Snooki, the bottle does not turn into the Oxyale as it does in the vanilla game here. It's randomized what the bottle can turn into, and the Oxyale came directly from the locked box in Canaria, which normally gives us our TNT. So our shuffled NPCs can mix up what they give us. So DM Stewart receiving a slab from Narek instead of the adamant.
That's so disappointing. You turn in the bottle, you get one turn in. I guess at least it's close to translate.
Mm-hmm.
But, oh man. If it would have been the other order, it would have been worse. Get the adamant to turn into the bottle, to turn into the slab.
You're absolutely welcome, Mr. Tanuki. I'm also pounding a lot of coffee, and it's awesome. FFR in the morning. It's funny that you mentioned ravioli in water. It's one of the most effective ways to cook ravioli.
It's true.
I mean, you can deep fry them. You can
pan fry,
bake them, pan fry them, steam them if you really want to go crazy.
Pressure cook.
I did do my grind. I've gotten into coffee and I started grinding my own coffee at home. It's the best kind of grind. Ravioli trying to rack and punch Kraken. 10 hits 508. Kraken not cooperating, just refuses to go down here for Ravioli, but 15 hits, 1,027 damage. Chef's kiss. You love to see it.
So DMStewart doing Earth right now, which seems like I need to do something while I figure out what my game plan is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Still has the black belt up front, which is actually kind of nice here because you should morale break some things. We're still checking chests.
So yesterday during a pickup race, we were all hanging out and being cheeky like we do in voice chat, and the catchphrase "never punished" kept getting thrown around, and DMStewart asked, "What does that even mean?" So it's just a joke that when I would go out of my way and open these sorts of better trap treasure boxes and be rewarded, like with the Dragon Armor -1, he would just say something like "never punished" because it's something neat. You found something good. Unfortunately, that Dragon Armor -1 isn't good for us, but DMStewart doesn't have a ribbon, so maybe he's trying to find a ribbon in a better trap treasure, which there are worse things to do, but at a certain point you have to commit, and
once we committed to the black belt, we should have fully committed to the black belt. That's part of the reason why I was surprised to see him stop at 32, is I would have expected 42 and just push and check nothing.
Yeah.
Only go for incentive locations and dungeons to finish.
Yeah, especially we did have wall early on that we could just spend the first round of the white mage just casting wall on itself. The black mage using its fast or its level 3 fast. The free fast or the level 3 fast. Say that 3 times fast.
Meme checking the Asher Trunk, we get the payout of an Ice Shield -1.
It's like what? 11 absorb and ice resistance for the black belt. But Ravioli diving this volcano up to level 37 now in the black belt and checking the Agama room. So both of our runners have found the different parts of the blown up knife that doesn't exist in these flags as an ice +5. This is a fighter seed.
Sure is.
Oh man, X-Cal +5 is one of the best swords you could find in these flags, as there is a 30 damage bonus to any attack that takes advantage of a weakness or overcoming a resistance, like the X-Cal does for everything. But if you have a dragon sword, you're swinging it on a dragon, each of those hits is going to do 30 extra damage. It's awesome. It's so good. And X-Cal just takes that to the moon with its huge attack power. DM still opening boxes. He's got to be desperate for a ribbon here, or a game 3 if we want to be cheeky. I know his game 3 flags that these runners have are a little spicier. We do have like item magic turned on and stuff. I did run a practice seed with DM earlier in the week. But Ravioli here is sitting pretty with the levels, the key item loadout, that early marsh play factoring in huge right now, because DMStewart still needs a key for go mode, and I don't know when he's going to go to the marsh cave.
So here's a question worth asking.
Yes.
I think Ravioli was questioning it himself. So you found an X-Cal +5.
Mm-hmm.
Do you replace that thief and consider walking back to Bahamut when you're at a sub 42 black belt, just to have a backup melee?
I think it depends on the first 3 levels of white magic. If we had Cure 4 available, I don't remember if Life and Life 2 were around, but probably not. I mean, these flags can produce dangerous Tophers, like any flag set can. However, I don't think that they are punishing enough that the backup melee is going to be necessary. We have a free fast at level 8, and I think that Black Mage, I mean, it has fast at level 3, so our turn order in TOF is swing, I guess wall if we want to, and fast. Because Ravioli does have a non-incentivized ribbon. There's our shop item, so crown for sale, so DM just getting sort of led by the nose in all the wrong directions. Ravioli gonna open the free box here, hope for a second ribbon, but get rewarded with an ice +5.
Rewarded in air quotes.
True. Now, if one of our light warriors could equip fighter swords, that'd be pretty sweet. Sometimes, I mean, white mage rolls not thief swords. It's fun to see. Like when they roll like legendary weapons, and you can bring back the pseudo white samurai. Yeah,
the legendary weapons is such a fun flag to see pop on or upblers to see pop onto anybody, and seeing it on the white mage in particular is fun because you're like, oh yeah, you know, I've got ruse, I've got wall, I've got cure magic for days. Maybe I just take this. It's a bad idea, but it's an idea.
Question from chat. What question is Ravioli's black belt? It's level 37. I just saw its menu. So he's close. Maybe we go back. Do you continue pushing for 42 once you lit this final orb?
I think you take a test dive.
Yeah. 37 might be enough to do it. So we've got a decent amount of MDef. We've got a decent amount of HP.
Did we get temper?
Yeah.
Was that a reasonable level?
I don't remember seeing temper.
So that's my terror condition, because again, we saw that Chaos has thick armor on a hint, and that tells me that 37 is not enough.
Yeah. Well, what about 38? As Ravioli downs Lich 1, gets level 38, DMStewart chalk into a robot, please. And unfortunately, stream hiccup missed what it was. Probably was a cube, because the robot's always the dang cube, in my experience. But Ravioli going in. The other DM, Darkmoon, our restreamer, in chat, calling out a TOF grind, and I don't mind that either. I mean,
and it looks like the option that's being picked, but weren't the Frosties problematic?
They had a lot of HP. They were over like 400 HP, I think. And there's
the cube. So, okay.
So, Robot gave us something.
Crystal, maybe?
Maybe. But low 20s here for DM. He will, I would imagine, check. Oh, there's worms. That's a fun one to see.
Mm-hmm. I always love seeing fast on trash fights.
It reminds me of I've done a lot of these flag sets in practice, and I've Opal Armor +3, Fighter Seed, please.
Jeez.
There's the Vorpal -3, so it was the crystal from the robot that led to the Vorpal, and now DMStewart has a choice to make. Ice.
It's not a good choice. I think he's going to do Marsh.
Yeah. So, second to last locationing this, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And that means ice was our incentive ribbon by a process of elimination. Likely TNT 2 ribbon. We're down to 2-man again here in Ravioli, and that's not necessarily a bad thing because Topher Exit is on, so we don't need that white mage to survive this dive grind, because we will be able to just walk out and save it.
I hope that he walks out like now. And just saves before getting bodied by something. You put in the work, you don't really want to...
It's like he's listening to you 10 minutes
ago.
I mean, DMStewart was kept referring to Ravioli as potentially the next Duckling Supreme, as the sort of respect there for the newer runner, and Ravioli's, I mean, he's definitely demonstrating here not Duckling ability. You know, like this is a heads up play here. Saracen as one of the organizers for the Duck Derby. What you want to talk a little bit about that upcoming adventure?
I sure do. So the final week of March will be the start of our Duckling Boot Camp, which is our 6-week program introducing new players to the randomizer, teaching you all about the flags and how to beat us veteran folk. Ravioli well on his way to doing that, as I've seen his times in the weeklies, and pretty consistent, we shall say. So once we have finished our 6-week boot camp, we will be launching into the Duckling Derby, which is our new player tournament. We allow our new players this tournament to make sure that they just don't, get thrown in headfirst into the veteran pool for the race, and play against people that are also new to the randomizer. So it's a good time. So we have 6 weeks with 2 flag sets a week that we go through. We have reveal streams. Those are going to be Sunday and Wednesday nights. And then that totals 12, and then we have the Derby after that.
Yeah, it's super exciting. Ravioli, talking about exciting, almost lost that black belt there. We hit 42, decided to take one more fight, get ambushed by chimeras that have up to 5 hits. And brought that black belt to an E before we were able to get through it. Luckily, the crits stopped coming. And not wasting money to bring everybody else back to life, but, when you're in the end game, I mean, money is just it's definitely a human construct at this point.
Yes.
We have no need for money anymore, but Ravioli now 47-25 heading into Topher proper, and we're going to see what this Topher does as DMStewart continues his orb lighting adventure. Did get the key and did not check Canary Locked, so we'll do Sky next. Lynn the Cat, good to see you, buddy, pointing out that he doesn't have any full heal pots.
So Sky is potentially scary because we have a sub 42 black belt and Tia 1 can roll up on Absorb.
Yeah.
We shall see how that pans out.
Yeah, we got Fast.
Fast doesn't help when each punch is still 1 damage.
But yeah, I mean, technically it does. Instead of doing 8 damage, we're doing 14 damage.
Slab turn in.
So this could be... Well, we know that this is... What are we missing? TNT to what? We found Vorpal. Because Ice has... Oh, Ice is the boat. That's right.
Yeah.
Ice is the boat straight up. So the TNT will... Or it could be TNT to boat. This is going to be either TNT to ribbon or just straight up ribbon. Is level 8 life. Rip. Quad X is worth buying. Quad X is always worth buying.
It's a very good spell. Hey, level 8 nuke.
Especially in these flags, like when the HP can scale up to 180%, which means but on average it's going to be about 120% HP bosses. So like if you can get within, the minute I hit vanilla HP, I start spamming Quad X's. So the minute I hit, 500 HP in damage into carry 2, I'm spamming Quad X. Or if the round of combat, like I'm expecting to put in at least 500, I'll throw Quad X out there just in case I get turn order right. But 10 hits, 1195. Black belt can do what the black belt do. As DM heads into Mirage. So barring a nasty Topher, looks like we're gonna be in for a game 3. Both runners did agree to a game 3 immediately following this if it was required. So stick around. We're gonna, once the race is finished, whenever that is, we don't know what Topher's gonna do. I haven't opened up the race room. Stick around. There's going to be potentially a game 3, and to decide who moves on to the round of 32. So I hope your early afternoon or morning, depending on what time zone you're in, is clear, because we got FFR all day today. Later today, there are more races coming at you. We pulled the schedule.
There's a lot of them.
Did we even? I didn't even see that Kraken fight.
I'm going to assume it was turn order black belt paunch.
Fair. Kraken didn't get to go. Good. Kraken 2 should never get to go. 20 hits, 1678. I think we're okay. There are scenarios that this could go sideways for Ravioli. The chief one being Death Touch. Or Mute Touch. Mute Touch could be bad too. Mute Touch on the White Mage could be pretty gross. I think the White Mage is still wearing the ribbon. We're going to jimmy our party around and pull Chaos. And there's the fast, there's the punch, there's the ruse. Keep that White Mage alive. Yeah, if Chaos can't even kill Black Mage with a punch, we're probably fine. Cheeky Bane Sword ineffective.
I would have laughed so hard if that Bane Sword landed.
12 hits, 246 damage. So there is the Absorb. We would absolutely love to see some crits from that black belt. The lock isn't going to help too much, but this Chaos, like you said, a lot of Absorb. We need crits. 14 hits, 999. There's a nuke. High rolls everyone but the black belt. The White Mage is gone. Warmech on DM Stewart's side, 15 hits, 866. Zap. Did the wall get off? 12 hits, 432. Ravioli getting it done. Get those GGs in chat for Ravioli. Everybody's Christmas wish came true. We are going to game 3.
Official time of 52 minutes flat.
You love to see it. That's crazy, crazy fast. Sub-hour, sub-55 is awesome to see in these flags. And to know that if Ravioli had just committed to that zombie D earlier, and not left to go to Earth, left to go to Volcano, and just stayed on that zombie D time, this could have been like a sub 50 seed. Crazy fast for Ravioli.
So my question to you, and I don't know if you've seen it yet, but have you watched Ale versus Namanva from last night?
No, I was in bed like an old person.
Oh. You should watch it. It was exceptional.
I heard the solo thief race was quite the spectacle.
It might have been the fastest race of the tournament so far.
Crazy. For the solo thief, somewhere out there, Will Bloodworth smiles.
It was an ideal solo thief seed.
So while we get the next race set up, we're not going to get the runners in here for interviews. We're just going to let them take their breaks between the seeds, clear their heads, and we will be back soon as we get going to game 3. Saracen, you going to stick around with me?
Sure.
Saturday plans are for other people. Our plans are FFR. And I got to think, what food we going to talk about race 3? What's your favorite food, Saracen? I know that's a very broad question, but you can think about it. We'll talk about it during game 3.
So, I'll tell you what. Rather than talk about favorite food, let's talk about signature dishes that we prepare in our households. I think that's a more interesting question, because favorite food, you're talking restaurants and somebody else making it a lot of the time.
The signature okay, yeah. Well, so come back for race 3. You'll learn about Saracen and I's signature dishes. We'll want to hear what yours are. I know DM Stewart's still running around doing stuff, but promise he forfeited nearly as soon as that finish came in from Ravioli. But thank you so much for hanging out. If you can't stick around, be sure to check out the randomizer itself, FinalFantasyRandomizer.com. It has a link to the Discord. You can get the spectator role so you won't miss a race in the future. And if you're sticking around, we'll be back in about 10-ish minutes. Love you.